Good afternoon, everyone, and today the sun is shining, the bunnies are enjoying life, and here we are back at the breakfast bar of knowledge. Now, this is my first USV, which is an uncrewed surface vessel. Now, USVs have made the news considerably because Ukraine has put them to use in the Black Sea. Now, we can see the Black Sea just here. It's a small sea, pretty much cut off to the world except for a passage by Turkey, which goes past the Bosphorus, which good historians will know well from World War One and the Gallipoli and Bosphorus campaigns. Now, the USVs to me have always been a little bit of an enigma. Do they hold use for other navies? I think they do. But has their use been really tied into quite a specific geographical campaign? Yes, I think it has. So it's a bit of a deliberation as to whether they will be useful and how to use them. So this is my first USV. This is on the hull of the Walter Rose or Verena, which is a Revell 1 in 72nd kit. Very simple conversion. I just added plasticard along the top. I added plasticard for the mission bays. So this is where FPV drones or missiles such as the Brimstone can be held and launched on elevating launchers from. The antennas here offer long-range communication. It's got a forward-looking infrared, which is a cut-down targeting pod mounted on plasticard, a AliExpress SATCOM because it needs to communicate over long distances, a Butler's printed 50 cal RWS on the front, and then these are the detonators because these can carry explosives in the front section and then ram into ships and bridges and piers and explode. So they can be used as sort of ship bound IEDs, for want of a better word. Underneath the Walter Rose kit is a good seafaring hull. It's not going to be as fast as some of the Ukrainian ones, the Sea Babies, which are based on powerboats. A single propeller here, but it's very light. It's only carrying the equipment that it needs. Not as fast as the powerboat equivalents, but the Malagasys have gone for a longer range alternative. Now, as you can see for the Malagasys, my WHATIFians, they have a very different picture to the Ukrainians who are looking to use them here in the Black Sea, a very small area to target the Russians whose bases are here in Crimea. Now, what they've done is they've effectively pushed the Russian Black Sea fleet, which was always a constrained naval fleet. They've pushed it back from Crimea. It can't operate from there anymore, Sevastopol. It has to operate all the way over here, just by Georgia and Turkey. And it's constrained in that area, and these USVs have caused a lot of damage. They are being countered now by the use of Russian loitering munitions, barriers around the piers, and the Russians are adapting their ships, training their sailors and using their fast-firing weapons to counter these. So yes, it's had some impact in this situation. So what about the WHATIFians? Well, the WHATIFians have the Indian Ocean and the triangle with the Desolation Isles, Ile de Desolation, the Kerguelen Islands, Prince Edward Islands. This is their strategic triangle here, the Indian Ocean. More of a geographically expansive area. So how could they use these USVs? Well, obviously we know at the minute there's a lot of bad acting going on in Yemen and attempts to close the Gulf, the Red Sea entry point here as it goes through the Gulf of Aden. So that's one possibility. They could be used against pirate mother boats because the pirates operate with mother boats. They could be used for that. They could be used to go and do surveillance around here without putting larger ships at risk. They could be used to prove routes because these can be deployed from the Jeremiah class mine hunters. I've done a video on those. And they could also be used around Indonesia should anything flare up with China and Taiwan. These are constrained naval passages, so the USVs could be used in that area there, both for long-term monitoring of ports, seeing what's going on, or to close down those routes. Imagine loads of these attacking at night from small anchorages or into small anchorages to close down routes. So there are some options there. You wouldn't really use them in the Atlantic, even though they are good sea hull. There's just no point and nothing to fight there. So they are kind of looking at how to use them. Now this brings us on to the Mission Bay, which is something I didn't cover with the Falanook class. And the Falanook class has on either side of the hangar a large mission bay, which has a crane on either side, and this arrangement here that boats can go into like a catching system and be hauled on and up into the mission bay. So the crane is like the Type 45 one, but lighter. It's very flexible. It allows a boat to come alongside, be picked up and hauled into the mission bay. Likewise, this is where the USVs can be launched from the Falanook. From either side, it can carry two, one either side of the hangar, and it can drop these off using that crane into the water, and they can go off and do their reconnaissance, or they can go off and hit some targets. The mission bay can also be used to carry raiding boats and raiding parties. It can carry two on each side, so 4 in total of this size raiding boat, which is a rigid hull inflatable boat. Or it can carry two 20-foot or 140-foot ISO container either side for resupplying garrisons or carrying special payloads. So the mission bay is quite crucial to the Falanook and how they operate. And it's just either side of the hangar there. You can see that it's got enough space because I designed it to have that capacity. Even when using a Seahawk, the hangar is in the centre, compartmentalised off for fire protection. They're all sort of Kevlar lined splinter frag protection on these ships. Compartmentalisation is what's used now by navies rather than armour, because it works better for the threat. Ultimately, modern weapons, if they do get through and hit a ship of this size, it's going to be opened like a tin can, unfortunately. But there you go. That's the USVs and the Falanook and how they can operate them. I absolutely love this ship. I think it's come out well. It's not perfect. There's a few bits I could sand and repaint, but for a scratch-built ship, I've done the best that I can. Take care. Goodbye.